freemmmostation.com.
It's time to face the truth. Your computer sucks. It also blows too, I guess. But anyway, while others are counting the days to enjoy EverQuest Next in Black Desert, you're stuck playing Minesweeper and hoping your computer won't overheat. But don't worry, we're here to help you. No, not by getting you a new computer, of course, but by listing 10 MMORPGs that aren't very greedy in system requirements. It's our top 10 free-to-play, low-spec MMORPGs. The downsides of these games, quite a few of them are considered classics of the genre, is that in some cases the player base may be deteriorating, so don't be surprised, but there's still some fun to be had. So let's begin.
Number 10.
MMO Online is now over 10 years old, and was the first South Korean 3D MMORPG. It shares many similarities with Diablo 2, including the isometric view and interface. Although it's obviously dated, it still holds up nicely after all these years and has a lot of content to go through. WebZen recently released Mu Rebirth, an official private server focused on PvP, so there's still plenty of life in MMO Online. The studio is working on MMO Online too, but it seems that the game is in development hell, so don't keep your hopes up.
Number 9.
Fiesta has gone through a lot in 2013, with publisher Outspark closing doors and the North American rights going to Gamigo. When it comes to anime MMOs, this was one of the most popular, along with Flyth and Grand Fantasia. The shell-shaded graphics didn't age too badly, and the game is quite fun at times. However, you'll hear the usual sort of things. It's pay to win, the community is horrible, and high-level gameplay isn't fun. As with most games, it's up to a personal opinion.
Number 8.
Grand Fantasia is a good game, albeit a generic one, so don't be surprised if it looks like many others. But it's still worth spending a few hours on if you're looking for a low-spec MMORPG. You'll have a sprite to help you along the way in tasks that you assign to it, such as gathering resources or crafting items. As for the rest, we can say that it's a relatively fun game with a lot to do, but do expect quite a bit of grinding after a few dozens of levels.
Number 7.
Flyth, or Fly for Fun, is a game that can be considered a part of the trinity that is completed with Fiesta and Grand Fantasia. The three games look strikingly similar and enjoyed quite a bit of success a few years ago. Nowadays, it's still a good choice if you're looking for some anime-style game, with a bit of flying around when you reach level 20, but as always, be prepared for a lot of grind.
Number 6.
Maple Story is a 2D side-scrolling game that had a fantastic number of registered users until, pretty much like any popular MMORPG, things have taken a swift turn to the cash shop side. It's also a bit grindy and repetitive, but that's a flaw that can be attributed to most MMO games in one way or another. Younger users will appreciate the graphics and gameplay more than experienced players, and while this game should run on the most humble of computers, beware of crowded places where things can be a bit laggy. Consider yourself warned.
Number 5.
Realm of the Mad God is the only game on this list that doesn't smell like old people. It was released in 2011 and is intentionally developed to look old, so to speak. It's a retro-action MMORPG with a cool, nest-speculated art style that's often described as a massively multiplayer, cooperative, bullet hell shooter. It's a simplistic, no bullshit, straight-to-the-point MMO game for the people who hate time-consuming MMO games. It will remind you of Gauntlet if you're that old. Give it a try and you might just love it.
Number 4.
At first sight, aimed at a younger crowd, Wizard 101 isn't a game just for kids who love Harry Potter. There's a genuinely interesting game behind its colorful looks, and this time you don't have to worry about the player base, since there are quite a few million still playing the game since it's launched in 2008. The downside is that some of the areas need to be purchased, or you can go for a subscription, which will also unlock some in-game perks. People with money win once again.
Number 3.
So, RuneScape 3 is out. Well, it's more like the third iteration of RuneScape, if you know what I mean. It's very likely that you've already played this game before, since it's in the Guinness World Records and everything. So there's not much to add about it. But for a low-spec computer, we would definitely recommend the old-school RuneScape version, which is a separate one based on the 2007 build. but the only catch is that it's only available to paying members. But you should know by now how RuneScape works and the area of limitations for free players.
Number 2.
Ragnarok Online is a hugely popular MMORPG that finally saw a sequel released in 2013. However, fans of the first game received the 3D sequel with plenty of negative criticism, expressing disappointment towards the new World of Warcraft-like version. Most critics focus on the new generic MMORPG feel that missed what Ragnarok Online was all about. Try the original first, and if you're still looking for the true Ragnarok Online sequel, keep an eye out for the upcoming Tree of Savior. Now that one is shaping up to be what Ragnarok Online 2 should have been.
And number 1.
Mabinogi is an amazing MMORPG offering a world that is still unrevealed in many levels. It's not your usual grind, level up and repeat. In this game, you can do so much besides the customary combat and fetch quests. You can play music, cook, farm, fish, and so much more. The Mabinogi includes some cool features, like characters that age, a true and interesting story, and combat that is fun, clever, relying on skill, and not just spamming the attack buttons. Sure, the visuals look dated, but it's nothing that will hurt your eyes. Mabinogi is one of the most underrated MMOs ever, managing to be complex yet so easy to get into, and a true classic overall. So there you go, a few cool, low-spec, old-school MMORPGs to play on your toaster. If your computer is bad, but not that bad, then you can take a look at Allods Online, Runes of Magic, or Perfect World International. But if you can't even get most of these games on this list to run properly, then the time has come to make the difficult decision. Upgrade the computer, or throw it out of the window. We'll see you next time.
Still not sick and tired of all the MOBAs yet? Good for you, because the developers of Heroes of Newerth has just announced another one, Strife. This is another free-to-play MOBA, and the studio expects the two games to compete between